This is good racing, ladies and gentlemen, here. Hutchinson on the line. The crowd are going bananas again for another Poole 5-1. Good evening. It's a very big warm welcome here from Dorset for the Pirates TV viewers this evening. I'm your commentator and presenter, Scott Mitchell. Forgot who I was then. And tonight, have we got a meeting for you? We've got the Poole Wessex Marine Pirates taking on the Scunthorpe Scorpions. Now, let's roll our days back to 7 days ago, and Pirates had a big, well, it wasn't a big defeat, but it was taken hard by the fans and taken hard by the promotion here at Wimborne Road. And you know, the guys were, it was all in the press. It was all sorts of things going on about where it went wrong, why it went wrong. So we see a few changes this week, but we'll talk about that later. The Scorpions hit town. Well, they had a massive win at home on Friday, 61. They tallied at home. 2 riders getting paid maxes. So they come here in a great vein of form. Tonight, yes, is the Cab Direct Championship. And yes, last week, Poole lost in the BSN series, but we did manage to qualify for the semi-finals of the BSN later in the year. So all importance and all the stuff that we needed, they qualified, and that's all they wanted. So let's head over to the pits and find out more about tonight's meeting with our roaming reporter, Rob Dyer.
Well, you join us in pit lane, and Louis Kerr's here with us. Louis, it's going to be a third meeting here at Wimborne Road for the Pirates. Time needed to settle in really and get the best lines around here. It was a bit of a shock last week with Oxford coming and taking the spoils, but chance tonight to put things back to rights.
Yeah, absolutely. League starts and we want to start with a win, so looking forward to it. Had a few issues last week which annoyed me a little, was a little bit angry, but yeah, looking forward to it. Track looks really good. Yeah.
I know we heard last week that you'd done a little bit of damage to your shoulder, but you're here in fine fettle tonight, all okay?
Yeah, all fine. It's just my plated collarbone. Give it a good whack, and I didn't even crash. It was just a hard first turn, and needed a few days just to recover a little bit. But yeah, I'm fine now.
Yes, you're another one of these guys who carries a lot of metal around with them from various incidents along the way. But looking to the future, it's going to be a busy weekend, not only after tonight, but up to Scotland for Edinburgh and then on to Berwick. And Berwick, of course, a place where you knew so well from last year. How do you see the weekend panning out? Yeah,
good. Plenty of points up for grabs. So, yeah, looking forward to getting a few meetings on the belt. A busy week, and yeah, we'll be going to win every meeting as we do and as Poole do. So yeah, hopefully we'll have a good weekend.
And busy, of course, because you've got Sheffield, I think, tomorrow night as well. So that's going to be 4 on the bounce, test for man and machine.
Yeah, that's right. Not a lot of sleep, but yeah, it'll work quite well. From Sheffield we'll go straight up and stay over and then work our way down. So it works quite well.
Well, good to see you, and good to see you totally fit, ready to go today. Let's have a good meeting from you.
Thank you.
And wish you all the best.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Well, here in pit lane, it's a great opportunity to welcome back Steve Worrall to the Pirates lair. And Steve, you must have very fond memories of being a Poole Pirate.
I have, yeah. Obviously spent 3 years of my career here, not only at the Speedway, but it's just the whole place. We travelled down early again today. Went down to the quayside, over to Sandbanks. It's just really enjoyed my time here. And I didn't get to come last year, whatever reason. But no, excited to get back, get out there.
Yeah, last year up at Glasgow it was a curtailed season for you, but this time round it's Scunthorpe, not too far from home for you, and an opportunity to get back on the bike, as it were, and post some big scores for the Scorpions.
Yeah, things didn't work out really with Glasgow. It was obviously I had a bit going on, which didn't help matters. But the first part of the season was okay. It's a big transition when you've been somewhere for so long. Like I was here for 3 years, and then you swap into somewhere different. Glasgow's a bit of a unique team in the way. I think they operate slightly different to Poole, which took me a little bit of time to get my head round. Then things went south, but back on now. Obviously, a lot less travelling with Scunthorpe, which makes life easier. I'm very much a family man now with 3 children, and I enjoy my time at home. So it's nice that now I can mix the two. You know, I can mix the two together, and I get the best of both worlds. I still get to race, still get to enjoy that side of it, and my family can come along too. So it's works a lot better for me now. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how your season started in 2025.
It's different because I'm usually a lot more active on the bike. You know, obviously I'd be doing 2 leagues, so I'd have a lot more racing under my belt up to now. You know, and at this point I can probably count the meetings I've done on my 2 hands, which usually it'd be double that. But so it does take a little bit of adjusting to, because every time you get on, you know, you've had quite a big gap in between, which it takes a little bit of getting your head round. It's nice because I have time in between, so you've got a week in between meetings, so I've got that time to build up the excitement again, and you know, get excited about going to the track. Whereas, you know, when you race too much, I think it can become a bit of a routine, and you kind of just go with the flow. But so I'm enjoying that side of it, but it is a challenge really. You're racing against lads who are kind of doing 2 leagues, maybe another country as well, and they're a lot more active on the bike. So when they get on, there's no rust to get rid of. You know, every time I get on, I feel like it takes a heat, maybe get my head around it, and then we're back on. So
last year the Scorpions made it to the playoff semi-finals and lost a little bit with injuries and absences in those meetings, but now they've rebuilt the side to a very, very solid crew, and you must be looking forward to a very positive season for the Scunthorpe Scorpions. Yeah,
it's looking. No, there's good signs. Obviously Friday night for us was a massive positive. You know, we didn't start the season very well. You know, we've got the Kennedys at reserve, but Declan hasn't been to the UK before. Zaine has, but a couple of years ago, so it's kind of like figuring things out for them too. You know, a couple of other riders hadn't quite started the way they would like to, or of what they're capable of. So yeah, but Friday night was a massive positive. You know, we give Workington a bit of a thumping really, and whether that's a good morale boost for us all, you know, we'll see. Hopefully, you know, off the back of Poole's loss last Wednesday, you know, it gives us a bit of hope and a bit of fire.
True test tonight.
Yeah, that's it. And obviously, I'll pass on as much knowledge as I can. But I also know what it's like. I know, having ridden here for 3 years, I know what it's like being on this side of the fence, but also how you are on the other side of the pits. And obviously, I know how good the Poole lads are around here. But optimistic. I think if I can, you know, help out as best I can, we're quite solid all the way through, and if everybody performs like they did on Friday, then we think we can get a good result.
Well, absolutely fantastic to have you back at Poole, Steve. All those seasons that you did as a pirate, very successful. Let's hope it's a successful night for you and the rest of the boys here tonight. Thanks for your time, Steve.
Thank you.
We're going back to the grandstand now, and Scott Mitchell.
So here come your rider lineups for this evening. We'll start with the Scunthorpe Scorpions. At number 1, it's Steve Worrall. Number 2, Luke Harrison. Number 3, Captain Simon Lambert. Number 4, Connor Mountain. Number 5 is Jake Allen. Number 6, Declan Kennedy. Number 7, Zaine Kennedy. And the team manager this evening is Rob Godfrey. Moving over to the Poole Pirates. At number 1, Richard Lawson. Number 2, Tobias THOMSEN. Number 3, Anders Rowe. At number 4, Lewis Kerr. At number 5, Zach Cook, the Pirates captain. Number 6, Paul Starke. And number 7, Darryl RITCHINGS. And the team manager, Mr. Ever-Present, Neil MIDDLEDITCH. So, welcome to us live here now at Wimborne Road for what is a tantalising meeting, really, Rob. I think we're looking forward to, you know, last week was a small defeat at home because we started really slowly. And it's made everybody a little bit apprehensive this evening, hasn't it? The crowd feels a little bit subdued on the way in tonight. It changed things, you know, a little bit.
Well, it certainly did. Good evening, everybody, and good evening to all our friends up there in Scunthorpe. If you're tuning in to Pirates TV, we hope that you're going to enjoy our coverage of the meeting, and you come at an ideal time, I think. If you're a Scunthorpe supporter, you've seen the Pirates suffer what was really a surprise defeat against Oxford last Wednesday. and with their very solid 1-7, the Scunthorpe Scorpions have got every chance of upsetting the apple cart in this first home league fixture for the Pirates. And just as we look on screen there, the Pirates in their pit bays getting themselves ready to go for number one in the parade. Quite clearly they'll have had some serious talk of what happened last week, and I know there was quite a major debrief took place after the Oxford meeting to try and analyse what occurred. And what occurred, of course, was the unfortunate exit of Matt Marson in the number 7 position. Poor old Matt, who's come in as a stopgap really to try and plug the gap until Will Cairns is available at the end of June. Well, unfortunately, Matt didn't quite cut the mustard, and I think, in all honesty, if you'd seen him over the course of the few meetings that he rode, he was a fair way adrift of the other riders. So the management make a move, and they've moved to a rider who has returned to the sport this season, Darryl RITCHINGS, and Darryl is hoped that maybe he can just inject a little bit more firepower from the number 7 berth.
Yeah, we see a change at number 5 as well. Louis Kerr and Zach Cook swapping over. Another sort of move from the Pirates management maybe to make it feel. But here's our head-to-heads.
Yeah, not too much to be able to tell you about there, of course, on the head-to-head side, except the fact that Zaine KENNEDY has been to Poole in the past. He's averaged 4.6 here at Wimborne Road in the meetings that he's contested, with a highest score of page 7. So along with his brother, who we're going to see come up next at the number 6 slot, they form one of the stronger pairings for championship teams.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same. I mean, if you think that Poole are maybe not quite at full strength there at reserve berth at the moment, then these are two that are coming in that really can challenge them, isn't it?
Yes, Zaine KENNEDY, of course, has not only been picking up rides for Scunthorpe, but he's done 2 guest bookings, valuable points for the Plymouth Gladiators over the last few weeks down there at the Coliseum. So he's certainly riding to and above his average 4.27. That's a little bit light at the moment, I've got to say, and I think he's much better than that.
Yeah, we look at Zach Cook and Jake Allen here. Not a lot of difference in age. Jake slightly higher in the averages, and win battles head to head, 4 out of 4. So we'll see how that goes as the meeting progresses.
Yeah, I was going to call Jake a bit of a journeyman. I mean, he's been in the UK for a number of seasons now, and he's found his niche at Scunthorpe. He seems very settled there, and he's a valuable member of the Scunthorpe lineup this year, taking up heat leader berth again. And his points are going to be crucial tonight if the Scorpions are going to overturn the Pirates. Look at the head-to-head now with Louis Kerr and Connor Mountain. Connor has been here on several occasions in the past. His best score is paid 9, and of course he was in that team that overturned the Pirates at the end of the 2023 season in the Knockout Cup final. So he'll have fond memories of coming to Wimborne Road. Louis Kerr still trying to find his groove really at the start of the season here for the Pirates. A rider who's certainly got the potential to increase the 7.71 green sheet average, but he needs to hit the ground running tonight, and hopefully that shoulder problem isn't going to hold him back.
Yeah, head-to-heads here. Anders Rowe and Simon Lambert. We've seen Simon Lambert have one particular epic night where he picked up 12 from 5 rides, and we can see there that on a head-to-head, Anders Rowe's best is 12 off of 6 rides, so not a lot between them here at this track. 50-50 on the head-to-head battles. Obviously a few more appearances for Anders, having had a season here with us, but this is an intriguing matchup for me, because Simon Lambert, for me, is a middle-order rider that does exactly what it says on the tin. He never really has shocker nights, but he's quite capable of having those double-figure nights for you when you need him to step up, particularly when he's captain of this Scorpion side.
Yes, and we go to the head-to-head for the number 2s, Tobias THOMSEN for the Pirates, and a young man who's getting lots and lots of rave reviews for the Scunthorpe Scorpions. Paid maximum last Friday for them, his first one, and that's young Luke Harrison. He did come here at the end of during last season. Didn't score a lot of points, but his potential has been absolutely fantastic.
And here we go with the number ones. Richard Lawson and Steve Worrall know all about each other for their careers, sort of kind of being overlapped for many, many a year. Obviously 3 years together here as Pirates, and I'm surprised there are no battles head-to-head here, but I suppose they would have been on the same team.
Absolutely, they'd have been on the same team, and it's one of the fascinating matchups tonight. Overall, here we are, the Wimborne Road Championship history. It's 4 wins for the Pirates, and 1 in the playoffs, 1 in the cup, and a draw. And of course, that's that knockout cup situation that we mentioned earlier on. So maybe tilted in favour of the Pirates, but Scunthorpe certainly a visiting team who always seem to find a good line here around the Wimborne Road circuit. And out on screen you can see the Scunthorpe boys walking across the centre green. They're coming out for their parade in front of the grandstand with team manager tonight, Rob Godfrey, no doubt breathing fire into their bellies. I think he can probably sniff a little bit of luck in the air, so we'll see how things go. And here's the Scunthorpe boys getting a nice reception from the grandstand here at Wimborne Road.
Yeah, needed no introduction. Here come the Pirates, and they will be looking to pull the crowd back on side. I don't think the crowd has ever gone offside. I think for me it was just a little unfortunate that we went down by 2 points. I think the break last week came at the wrong time for an hour and 15 minutes a little bit while we were just coming back into the meeting. But all said and done, last week is last week. You can only dictate the future.
Yeah, we don't take anything away from Oxford. I think we've got to agree that overall they were the better team on the night and deserved their victory, but it's only 2 points on the night, and it could have been a lot different. And here we see the Pirates just taking up their positions down on the starting line, inspecting the grids, and when we arrived at the stadium, or when I arrived at the stadium just after 5 o'clock, there was an awful lot of track work going on down there at the gate. Well, let's pass you over to track announcer Nigel Leahy to hear his introductions.
Scunthorpe Scorpions. Riding at number 7, Zaine KENNEDY. Rowe at number 6, Declan KENNEDY. Wearing the 5 dress jacket, Jacob. Number 4, Commentator. And number 3, the captain, Lambert. Number 2, fresh from a paid maximum on Friday, Luke Harrison. And number 1, the former Pirates captain, number 1, Steve Worrall. Steve's a popular face here at Wimborne Road, our own class of 5. They're back to show you what they can do tonight. Once again, say hello to our own Poole Wessex Marine Pirates. And number 7, making his Pirates debut, please give a big welcome to Darryl RITCHINGS. Number 6, Starke. Moving to number 5 in the lineup, Captain Seth. Rocking with Zach at 4, Kerr. After a sparkling performance in Monday's British final, number 3, Rowe. Number 2, Tobias THOMSEN. And the Pirates, number 1, Richard Lawson. Our two captains on the line, Zach and Simon. Morris is here just giving the coin. Simon's called heads, and it is tails giving Zach choice. Zach said 1 and 3 for the Pirates in E1.
So here we go then. Lads having their last minute preparations. This is their chance to check the bikes over. They've been doing all the work before they get here, trying to make sure everything's perfect, trying to get the gearing right, trying to judge the track right and everything else, and this is their time to be able to give it a go and see how it feels.
Yeah, it's been a roasting hot day again down on the south coast, and plenty of water being put down on the track during the course of the day. Starting gates have been ripped slightly there, and we're potentially in for a bit of a cliffhanger tonight, a bit of a nail biter. Let's hope it goes that way, because we love to see these close score lines and great racing. And there we are, the boys at the pit gate, having completed their preparation laps, heading back into their bays now to just get themselves ready to go in heat number 1 of this Cab Direct Championship fixture between the Pirates and the Scorpions.
Do the lads actually get a chance? Oh yeah, here we go. Many ways to contact us here. Pirates TV. Poole/Speedway.com, on Facebook, facebook.com Poole Pirates, on X, twitter.com/Poole Speedway, instagram.com/Poole Speedway, and the good old fashioned World Wide Web, info@Poole/Speedway.com. Yeah, did the lads actually get a chance? You've been in the pits, you know, for the last few years in between races. And if the guys come out now on that practice, do the guys at number 1 and 2 get a chance to change the bike too much?
No, not really. It did happen, I think, on 2 occasions last year. Certainly Richard Lawson was one of those riders that he came back in the pits and immediately made moves to remove the clutch from one bike and switch it over to the other. Now, I think in many ways he was slightly lucky that the referee didn't call the 2 minutes straight away, and he did manage to effect that change. But I guess most of them will be hoping that they've got their setup okay, ready to go for their first races. But yeah, numbers 1 and 2 on both sides don't always get a lot of time to get themselves geared up and ready to go, and if they want to make changes, then they've got to be quick smart about doing it.
Yeah, very much so. It's not like you can set one bike up one way and one bike up another and just nip back in and switch them over, because you can only sort of do that practice lap with one bike, can't you? So it's very difficult to tell whether the second bike will work immediately.
Unless you're in Poland, of course, where you probably get both the bikes out on the track and the mechanics and the whole entourage working together to try and get both bikes tested.
Or if you listen to Honorary lately, the rumour is that Richard Lawson's got a job to clean one bike, let alone 2 dirty bikes.
Oh yes, the team manager was quite clear about his thoughts on that matter a few days ago.
Yeah, I think the bikes were all nice and clean when they came in the pits today, Rob, when I was over there.
Well, fairly. I don't know if he had the Brillo pads out, but they weren't too bad. So we've got the 2 minute clock running down now, and on screen there, in the yellow helmets, young Luke Hallerson going to make his way out onto track, and he'll be lining up on gate number 2 for the Scorpions. Richard Lawson there just doing his traditional gardening, as all the riders will be, and inside him Tobias THOMSEN also trying to find the sweet spot in gate number 1 so that he makes a good getaway.
So we're just 1 minute away now. Tapes up on the countdown clock. All our riders are in. And here's our lineup. In gate 1 in blue for the Pirates is Tobias THOMSEN. In gate 2 in yellow for the Scorpions, Luke Harrison. In gate 3 in red for the Pirates, Richard Lawson. And in gate 4 in white for the Scorpions, Steve Worrall.
And there we are, the grandstand bathed in sunshine. And let's hope that fine weather continues throughout our Speedway season and we don't lose too many fixtures to bad weather. Interested spectators up on the gantry in the pit lane.
The tapes are up and we're away at heat 1. And it looks a good one from Worrall on the outside. Super stuff from Stevie Worrall. And now coming up the inside, Luke Harrison, he's pushing Richard Lawson. At the back, Tobias THOMSEN's trying to go the long way around. But it's Stevie Worrall leading after heat 1, that one.
Yeah, super start there from Worrall off of gate number 4. He was really gone. And Luke Harrison in the mix from the first corner. Richard Lawson having to muscle his way through. But the race is on at the front here with Steve Worrall stretching it out. See Richard Lawson tucked in behind. Only one mistake and Lawson will be through, but Worrall looks to have things pretty well measured as they go into bends 3 and 4. And they are facing up to the yellow-black flag. Worrall leads Lawson on the last lap.
Lawson looks a quicker rider, there's no two ways about it. He's trying to con Worrall into a wider line, but Worrall's been here before. He's ridden heat 1 before. One big last one round the outside from Lawson, but it looks like Worrall's going to hold on. It's white, red, yellow and blue as they go over the line.
And on camera now, the race winner, Steve Worrall in white. A super start there from the outside styling position. He's over Richard Lawson straight away, and Luke Harrison no slug out of gate number 2. Here he comes past the grandstand, Steve Worrall. Your race winner will bring the official scores and race result on screen for you now.
So the heat 1 official result, first was in white was Steve Worrall for the Scorpions. In second in red was Richard Lawson for the Pirates. In third in yellow was Luke Harrison for the Scorpions, and at the back was Tobias THOMSEN in blue for the Pirates. So the heat result is a 4-2 heat advantage to the away side, the Scorpions. And as you can see here from the tapes up, watch Worrall on the outside, sharp as a button, and just drives all the way to that first turn. Manages to get half a bike over Lawson, and Lawson drifts a little bit wide. Luke Harrison there has a good nibble underneath and nearly got through there. But it was then all about Worrall riding the right line and not making any mistake. And he's been here at that position in many a time for the Pirates and knew what to do.
He certainly did. So a good start for the Scorpions. On to heat number 2. Match stats so far. Pirates have got a 5-1, a 4-2. No, put it the other way around. Visitors have got a 5-1 in the 2 matches so far. So not a good heat for the Pirates. Historically, 2 5-1s against. Down to Paul Starke and our new man Darryl RITCHINGS to see if they can buck the trend.
Yeah, how must Richards be feeling knowing the history of the club and getting a call out of the blue to try and come and do a job for sort of 8 or 9 meetings?
I would imagine that he is a bag of nerves, to be perfectly honest. And of course, having gate 4 in your first ride isn't going to do him any favours. And we hope that he makes a decent start against those 2 Scunthorpe boys, but we know that there is strength in depth right the way through the Scunthorpe lineup, and particularly down there in the 6 and 7 positions.
So here we go with the lineup for heat 2. In white, Declan Kennedy for the Scorpions on gate 1. Gate 2 in red, Poole Starke for the Pirates. Gate 3 in yellow, Zaine Kennedy for the Scorpions. And in gate 4 in blue, the new man Darryl RITCHINGS for the Pirates.
The rider's just coming to tapes now and settling down. Starting Marshall looks to be okay. Away he goes.
Tapes are up and away we go. Starke looks like he got a good one on the inside. Kennedy's going wide. RITCHINGS is trying to go around the outside. It's all nip and tuck, but it's Starke who's out front in red for the Pirates. The 2 Kennedy brothers are following. And Richings is close by in fourth.
Starke's away and looks like he's got it pretty well nailed down on the inside line. Declan Kennedy is the rider in white in second place. His brother tucked in yellow in third. And Darryl RITCHINGS, well, working hard at the back, but the two Scunthorpe boys are just creeping away from him at the moment. But Poole Starke, good to see Starke out in front. We know he had bike problems a little bit last week. Looks like they may have been solved. 1 lap to go.
Yeah, it looks like Declan Kennedy's getting close to him. One mistake from Starke, and you feel that Kennedy has got the speed to go round him. He's just got 2 corners to go here, Poole Starke. Rides a sensible line around the inside, no mistake. It's red, white, yellow and blue as they come over the line.
Good start for Poole Starke there. He's been needing a few points, and that's going to be a good settler for him in heat number 2 here. Darryl RITCHINGS working hard, not quite in the point scoring positions, but he did his best, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, confirmation of the heat 2 result here. Then it was a win for Poole Starke in red for the Pirates. In second place, picking up a couple of points, Declan Kennedy in white for the Scorpions. In third, in yellow, Zaine KENNEDY for the Scorpions. And at the back was Darryl RITCHINGS in blue for the Pirates. It was a 3-all was the heat score at the end of heat number 2. And 61.99 was the race time for those that keep it.
So let's have a look at the start again, and as the tapes go up, it's Poole Starke who makes the best drop there, and he drives hard to the first bend, keeps it tucked down fairly low on that first 2 corners, and behind him Declan Kennedy was trying to find a way around the outside, but Starke just moved out slightly and was able to take the race home. We're moving on, heat number 3. And riders coming out on track this time round, and on screen you've got Louis Kerr in the 2 matches of heat number 3 so far. Pirates have scored a 5-1, and there's also been a shared heat at 3 to each team, so not a disastrous race for the Pirates. They'll no doubt be looking to put some points on the board in this one. They can retrieve the 2-point deficit.
So here are your rider lineups for heat 3. In gate 1 in blue is Lewis Kerr for the Pirates. In gate 2 in white is the Scorpions captain Simon Lambert. In gate 3 in red, the Dorset-born Anders Rowe. And in gate 4 in yellow, it's Connor Mountain for the Scorpions.
Connor Mountain, much underrated racer for the Scorpions. He was in the British final on Monday night. I think he scored 5 points up there at Bellevue in the big meeting of the night. And you know, if you had a fantasy league speedway team, I think I might be having Connor Mountain in my side, because he's reliable, dependable, and if you need a middle order man to clock up some points for you, he, in my opinion, is a good one to have. So we're just waiting for the riders to sort themselves out. Start Marshal Rob Wadham is just encouraging them to come to the start line. Pirates up in first, Scorpions follow in. Here we go then with heat number 3.
Away we go with heat 3, and it's a fast one off of gate 4 for the rider in yellow, Connor Mountain. Second and third places being packed by the Poole boys. Anders Rowe now takes chase. At the back, Simon Lambert.
Connor Mountain with a great gate off of position number 4 there has Anders Rowe for company in second place. Louis Kerr in third. Simon Lambert out of shape on bends 1 and 2, and he's out the picture. So Anders Rowe now picks up the pace with Connor Mountain. They're very, very close together there. It needs a little bit of a change from Rowe here to see if he can go a different way, and that looks like the way to go, round the outside with Mountain just leading it out. Connor Mountain just leading it out.
Yeah, absolutely. He nearly stopped there, dead in the corner. Anders Rowe goes really hard into turn 3. Has he got enough to get around there? Yes! It's red, yellow, blue and white. That is the unofficial confirmation of the score. Looked like he made it from me. The fans here at Wimborne Road think he's made it, and I think he thinks he's made it himself as he comes around in a lap of honour.
Yeah, I've got to say, looked to me as if he was there. Crowd are on their feet, quite rightly so. Great piece of work from Rowe.
There we go, all good. So, conversation of the Heat 3 result. It's a win for Anders Rowe, as you can hear the crowd going crazy here at Wimborne Road. In red for the Pirates, he picks up the 3 points. In second, Connor Mountain in yellow, who led for all the way till the last corner for the Scorpions. In third, picking up a point. In blue was Louis Kerr, and at the back was Simon Lambert in white for the Scorpions. It's a 4-2 heat advantage to the Pirates, and a race time 61.03. So after 3 heats, it's 9 to the Pirates and 9 to the Scorpions.
Yeah, nip and tuck as we thought it was going to be. And look at this on the screen there. We've got Anders Rowe out in the dirt trying to find a path around the outside of Connor Mountain, and on the line, yeah, fair enough, Rowe gets there. On we go, heat number 4. Riders coming out of pits now and heading towards the start line, with Pirate skipper in an unusual number 5 position. I don't think we've seen him pick up the number 5 berth before. Zach Cook is going to have to lead by example here, and he has Darryl RITCHINGS as his company for the Pirates, and Jake Allen and Zaine KENNEDY we expect for the visiting Scorpions. Nip and tuck, we thought it may go this way, or many of us thought it would go this way. There were 1 or 2 very confident people I spoke to earlier on who thought the Pirates would have this one very much their own way, but I don't think that is ever going to be the case.
So here we go then, Heat 4, top sponsored by Top Class Consultancy. Gate 1 in blue, Darryl RITCHINGS for the Pirates. Gate 2 in yellow, is Zaine KENNEDY for the Scorpions. Gate 3 in red is Zach Cook for the Pirates, the captain. And gate 4 in white for the Scorpions is Jake Allen. Jake Allen would have liked this Rob Godfrey there in shot, who's manager for the Scorpions tonight.
Gate 4 been working well so far. What can Jake Allen do from there? Let's have a look.
Heat 4 is underway. Gate 4 looks like a good one. It's going to be Zach and Jake Allen to the front, but it's not. Coming round the inside line, Zaine KENNEDY. Zach's going up the inside. Can he get past him? No, Zaine's got drifted off the line. Has Zach got enough? No, he hasn't.
Jake Allen out front, good start again off of position 4. Consolidated with his reserve partner Zaine KENNEDY in second place. Pirate skipper Zach Cook in red. All the work to do as they head round the pit's bend, and it's looking comfortable for those Scorpions. Zach Cook with an awful lot of work to do to reel in Zaine KENNEDY. KENNEDY just sitting down tight on the line. Cook maybe needs to follow the example of Anders Rowe in the previous race.
Absolutely, Zach goes wide but stops his speed out there in the dirt. Can he go now? Stays tight, but KENNEDY holds a tight line. It's a win for the rider in white. Second yellow, third red and fourth blue as they come over the line. Scorpions bounce back for sure in that one.
Yeah, and on screen there is the race winner, Jake Allen, and another great start off of gate number 4 for the Scorpions. We thought 1 and 3 may be the better gates, but Scorpions are proving that that's not the case. Jake Allen on his way back to pits. Race result coming up on screen for you right now.
So it was a win for the rider in white from the Scorpions, Jake Allen. Second was Zaine KENNEDY in yellow, making a 5-1 max score for the Scorpions. In third was pool captain in red, Zach Cook, and at the back in blue was Darryl RITCHINGS in fourth. So the heat score for Heat 4 was 1 to the Pirates and 5 to the Scorpions. The time 60.89, and our match score after 4 heats, it's 10 to the Pirates, 14 to the Scorpions.
Yep, going well for the Scorpions so far, and we can see there Jake Allen just walking back into pits. So Rob Godfrey, the team manager there, obviously encouraging his boys, and no doubt a happy man at this stage. We said earlier on that Scorpions often did quite well here at Poole, and they're keeping that tradition running so far. Great track, of course, up at Scunthorpe, the Eddie Wright Raceway. It always produces excellent racing up there. It may not be the most palatial or plush of tracks, but what it does do is it gives a surface and a shape that riders who are prepared to give it a real go can find great traction, great drive and great lines, and it produces super speedway up there. So well done to Rob Godfrey and all his team who make the Eddie Wright Raceway the place to be. Of course, combined with stock cars there as well, they do have lots of those meetings as well. Here we are, Scotty, it's you and me again, and what you're looking at? You're looking at where we're going to see the Pirates pull it back.
No, I was just looking at the fact that last week we all had varying gates, and we had the 2 and 4 last week, and it didn't work for us early doors, and it seems that 2 and 4 and being forced to have it for the Scorpions has worked for them.
Yeah, it does. Hard to fathom that, isn't it, really? You'd have thought that it may be fairly consistent week on week, but no, it's not working that way, and you've got to take your hat off to the Scorpions. They made the most of what they've got, and it will spin around. Of course, the Pirates will get their share of the 2 and 4 as the evening progresses, but nice to start off on the positive foot and get your noses in front straight away. But, only 4 at the moment, and I think at this stage last week we would have been 8 maybe behind, so a little bit of progress, but obviously we want the Pirates to be plundering the points early in the meeting so as to take a little bit of pressure off the later heats.
Yeah, well, I just noticed that Jake Allen was there having a chat with Connor Mountain. Both of those two guys, along with Steve Worrall, made great starts off of gate 4, and they were just all having a little chat there, and you could see Jake Allen sort of instigating that. He dropped the clutch and away it went. It had so much grip the bike nearly got away from him, and it seemed to surprise Jake Allen that how much grip was out there at on Heat 4. But we know gate 4 can be good. Early doors here at Poole, it just makes maybe get a bit dry later on, as sort of like 14 or 13 heats have run over it towards the end of the meeting.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? When you're on the racing line, you are going to be drying that particular gate out unless you've got a very special tactic for keeping it a wet and a moist place to be. But you're right, Scotty, it does tend to dry during the course of the meeting. And just looking on screen, we've got Anders Rowe there, who had a great night up at the British final on Monday. 9 points into the semi-final with the big boys, and I think he got a special award from one of the meeting sponsors. I can't remember particularly which one it was, but he obviously impressed, and he opened up with 2 winning rides, so yeah, he's making his mark on the bigger leagues, and good on him too.
Yeah, very much so. Another one that, you know, I think the fans were pleased to see come back over the winter, and I think we can see what an ambitious rider he is from Heat 1 here. He also did it last week, didn't he, against the Cheetahs, was trying the big run around the outside, and the fans just want to see a trier. They just want to see somebody giving it a good go. They know you can't win every race, but if you're trying to win every race, it goes a long way with the fans, the paying public.
Yeah, it's what you see really, and there was some criticism last week on social media about the Pirates' performance, but at the end of the day, you've got to say that they don't go out there to come last, do they? They go out there to score points for their team. Sometimes it works. Last week for the Pirates, it didn't quite work. But tonight it's a new ball game, and the ball game is trying to catch up with the Scorpions.
So Heat 5 sponsored by Trethowens. Gate 1 in yellow is Luke Harrison for the Scorpions. Gate 2 in red, Anders Rowe for the Pirates. Gate 3 in white, Steve Worrall for the Scorpions. And Heat 1 first time out. And Gate 4 in blue, Louis Kerr for the Pirates.
Now, can Louis Kerr perform what others have been doing from the starting position number 4 as we go to heat number 5? He's got Steve Worrall, a renowned good gaiter inside of him, and Anders Rowe is there as well with Luke Harrison. A tasty race, I would have said. So let's lick our lips and look forward to it.
Takes her up and away we go. Worrall looked like he was having a little nibble, but he only harpered himself, so the race goes on. And it's the two Poole boys at 1 and 2 as we go into turn 3.
With Anders Rowe over the line ahead of Louis Kerr. Luke Harrison tucked in down on the low line, and Steve Worrall there just lifting out from the gate with a nibble, as Scotty rightly says. But the race is starting to stretch out now. Anders Rowe, Louis Kerr for the Pirates out front, 1 and 2. Luke Harrison still battling hard for the Scorpions, but there's a little bit of a gap developing now between second and third. Kerr in front of Harrison, 1 lap to go.
Yeah, Anders Rowe is clearing up into the sunset here on the lovely Dorset evening, and it's Louis Kerr. Can he hold on? From the rider in yellow, Luke Harrison. Harrison's going tight. Louis Kerr's got the line. It's red, blue, yellow and white as they cross the line. It's a maximum of their own for the Pirates, straight back at the Scorpions in Heat 5. It's that man again, Anders Rowe, as he comes round and takes the plaudits from the Pirates fans.
As does Louis Kerr, and here comes your official result on screen.
So your official result of Heat 5 is a win for Anders Rowe in red for the Pirates. Coming home was his partner in blue, Louis Kerr. In third was an ever-trying Luke Harrison in yellow, and at the back was Steve Worrall in white for the Scorpions. It's a 5-1 heat advantage in the favour of the Pirates, and your race time was 60.16. So after 5 heats, our match score on the evening, 15 points to the Pirates, 15 to the Scorpions.
So if we can have a look at the restart, we see the rider in white here, Steve Worrall. Just a little nudge, and it was enough to put him to the back of the field. And as a result of that little nudge, Steve Worrall picks up a warning from the referee. So he'll have to carry that through the rest of the meeting and stay stationary at the start. On we go. It's race number 6 with Richard Lawson and Tobias THOMSEN, Jake Allen and Declan Kennedy, the riders on track. And I'm sure that man you can see on screen, the Donut King, Tobias THOMSEN, would love to perform one of his race-winning celebrations, but no score first time out, so can he put that to rights? Heat 6 scores in 2 matches. Well, we've got the Pirates taking a 5-1 in one and sharing it as a 3-3 in another, so not a bad state of affairs. Let's have a look what happens when the riders go off to tapes in heat number 6.
So the riders come up to tapes. Here's your Heat 6 lineup, sponsored by Pirate Cast. In Gate 1 in red for the Pirates is Richard Lawson. In Gate 2 in white is Jake Allen for the Scorpions. In Gate 3 in blue is Tobias THOMSEN for the Pirates, and in Gate 4 in yellow is Declan Kennedy for the Scorpions.
riders at the line just getting themselves prepared and moving into place. Last up, the rider in yellow there, Declan Kennedy. We're ready to go.
And it's a good getaway from Lawson on the inside. Allen's with him. Allen's pulled up at the back, so I don't know whether he's got some mechanical issue, but it's Lawson out front. Zaine Kennedy in yellow in second. Tobias THOMSEN in third.
Lawson leading it, Kennedy on the low line there, and Tobias THOMSEN in third. Jake Allen looking dismayed on the centre green with a bike, but no problems for Richard Lawson leading it out ahead of Declan Kennedy and Tobias THOMSEN in third place. Rather processional, I'm afraid. Richard Lawson clear and fresh air in those nostrils as they go over the line. 3 laps completed, 1 to go. Scotty, over you.
Yeah, Lawson out front, but what I do notice here, that you've got Kennedy as a reserve switch, I think. He's following Lawson where he went red, yellow and blue as they come over the line, and no finisher in white. He's sat on the centre green. It's a 4-2 heat advantage in the favour of the Pirates. Now you see the stricken machine of Jake Allen. He's trying to work out exactly what went wrong.
Richard Lawson takes the applause of the crowd and heads back towards the pits. Here's your official result of heat number 6.
It's a win for the rider in red, Richard Lawson. He picks up the 3 points for the Pirates. In second, in yellow, is Declan Kennedy for the Scorpions. In third, in blue, is Tobias THOMSEN for the Pirates. He picks up the solitary point, and failing to finish in white was Jake Allen with bike problems. It's a 4-2 heat advantage to the Pirates. 60.21 was the race time, and the match score after heat 6, it's 19 to the Pirates, 17 to the Scorpions.
Yes, unexpected advantage maybe for the Pirates there, the way it kicked off from the start, and poor Jake Allen's the man who suffered there with some mechanical issues, and bikes being dragged back to the pits. Let's go racing in heat number 7. Pirate skipper Zach Cook is going to be on track, and he'll be accompanied by Paul Starke, winner first time out. And the Scunthorpe pairing have got Simon Lambert, Connor Mountain, and we'll bring you all those official riders across their grid positions just a moment or two's time. 19-17, Pirates have a 2-point advantage, and heat 7, well, again, that looks like it's one that may fall in favour of the visitors. They've taken a 5-1 in one of the races, they've shared another at 3-3. So heat number 7, could it be the time that the Pirates turn it around?
Yep, here we go, heat number 7, sponsored by Wessex Marine. In gate 1 in white, the luckless Simon Lambert from his earlier heat. In gate 2 in red, Zach Cook for the Pirates. In gate 3 in yellow is Connor Mountain for the Scorpions, and in gate 4 in blue is Paul Starke for the Pirates.
Connor Mountain, who did such a great job last time out, just picked of course by Anders Rowe, and with his skipper Simon Lambert there on gate number 1. Possibilities for the Scorpions. Head-on shot across the gate there. You can see the riders just getting prepared. Simon Lambert is the rider we're just waiting to pick up his grid position, which he now does. So we're ready to go racing.
And away we go, and it looks like a good one from the rider in red, Zach Cook. He looks over his shoulder for his racing partner, and he knows he's not there. He knows it's the rider in yellow, and that's Connor Mountain, who had a first time out as well. So it's Zach Cook now having to clear off.
Cook out the front, he's got a couple of Scorpions with the sting in their tails chasing him. And Poole Starke for the Pirates is tailed at the moment, I'm afraid. So Zach Cook's got the responsibility, and he's put something like 10 lengths between himself and Connor Mountain in second place. Simon Lambert riding shotgun for Mountain, he's in third. Round they come on the car park bend with Zach Cook coming over the start-finish line. 1 lap to go.
Yeah, Zach's mum and dad will be watching at home in Australia at some earthly, unearthly hour, watching their boy, the captain of the Pirates. It's Zach Cook as he comes over the line with a win in red for the Pirates, followed by yellow, white and blue. Much more like it from Zach. That's what the Pirates fans are looking for from the captain.
Yep, there he goes over the line. He receives the applause of
line up 8-7. Winner. It was a win for Zach Cook in red for the Pirates. In second, Connor Mountain in yellow for the Scorpions. Third in white was Simon Lambert for the Scorpions, picking up the last point, and at the back, Poole Starke in blue for the Pirates. 3-all heat score was the result of heat 7. 60.77 was the race time, and the running score after 7 heats here at Wimborne Road is 22 to the Pirates, 20 to the Scorpions.
Yes, we apologise for the confusion with the graphics. It's all down to the bloke in the box downstairs who presses the buttons. Most of the time he does a good job, but you might have the old fat finger syndrome. Anyway, we're back looking at the race which Zach Cook has just put in the bag for the Pirates. Good start from Cook off of gate number 2. He made his way round bends 1 and 2 with the Scorpions tucked in behind him, and he headed off for a race win. And Pirates were looking for Poole Starke to do something there to get in the points, but it wasn't to be. And there's the skipper.
Looks like he's going on up through to pass on some advice. We have a slight interval here at heat 8 while we have a track to grade. Really in depth for Jock Goodwin there, his mechanic this evening. Zach Cook probably looking for more speed, and we'll be asking how much he was in front, and what was, I suppose the only way that you know how quick you're going is the race time as a guide to against your opponents.
Yeah, it's interesting race time, Scotty. I mean, talk about this is an interesting thing. When you look at it, the race times during the course of the meeting only vary by probably 1 second over 15 races. It's hard. I find it hard to be able to assimilate how different riders, and you might get 6 or 7 race winners during the course of an evening, all come in within 1 second of each other. I just don't understand it, but I think it's very, very interesting that it is as level as it is.
And we talk about some of the world's biggest sports like Formula One, and that doesn't even happen in that, does it?
No, it doesn't. And I mean, you look at not only Poole but other tracks as well, and the race times don't vary that much track to track. Okay, it might be 60 seconds here at Poole, it might be 57 seconds at Edinburgh, but it's going to be 57 or 58 seconds at Edinburgh all the time. So it's so standard. I just find it very interesting that they all seem to be going at the same pace.
Yes, indeed. And
a couple of Scorpions there. Luke Harrison on the left, Zaine Kennedy on the right, and that looks like a pretty good pairing for the visitors in this one. They'll be going up against Tobias THOMSEN and if we go by the programme, Darryl RITCHINGS, but a change perhaps. We'll have to wait for any official confirmation for that. Rob Godfrey, who's the chairman of the BSPL, one of the main men in British Speedway, one of the movers and shakers, influencers in our sport, does have some detractors up and down the country, but who wants to take that job on?
I think any sport has it. I'm a dart player, and within darts we have people not happy how the people within darts run it. I don't think once you're a top organisation sort of runner or guider or chairman or manager or whatever, I don't think that you can keep everybody happy.
No, I agree with you entirely. It's a very unusual organisation that works in total harmony. There's always got to be some opinion or some views expressed along the way, hopefully to make those things better. But interesting man to talk to, actually, Rob Godfrey. And although he might appear to be a little bit brash and a little bit abrasive from time to time, he does have a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, I think I remember the water barrels are breaking down here. Was it last year? And it was the Scorpions meeting, and out he marched, and him and Dan having a few crosswords. But they're the best of mates at the best of times. They're just adversaries when the meeting starts.
50-50 draw. 50-50 draw taking place right now here on the centre green. And the winning ticket this week is 418. 418. Winning ticket.
So the tractor has now disappeared away into its secure area. And any second now we'll be seeing the riders back out on track for heat number 8.
I'm having a look down there to see who's coming out in the blue helmet. Whatever it is, he didn't seem impressed.
No. I believe you were in the company of Neil Middleditch on Saturday night, Scotty, at a certain darts festival.
Yeah, I'm pleased he wasn't my manager on Saturday night, because I lost and he wouldn't have been impressed with me either. So, we had a big exhibition at the BIC in Bournemouth with all the big names: Luke Littler, James Wade, Johnny Clayton and Peter Snakebite Wright.
So heat 8 statistics, 2 matches. Pirates have done well in one, shared the other, so bodes well for this one for the Pirates. But tough nuts out there on track from the Scorpions. A couple of riders going very well: Luke Harrison and Zaine Kennedy. And I think we're going to see Poole Starke in blue. Let's just bring up the official lineup for you on screen.
So here we go then. It's Heat 8, sponsored by the Bournemouth Betting Centre. Gate 1 in yellow, Zaine Kennedy for the Scorpions. Gate 2 in blue, Poole Starke, a reserve change for the Pirates. In Gate 3 in white, Luke Harrison for the Scorpions, and in red on the outside gate, Tobias THOMSEN for the Pirates.
View of the referee's box there. Referee in the middle, Seth Perkins, all the way down from Manchester for this one. And we have riders now just settling at the start line. Starting marshal seems to be happy. He moves away.
It's a good start off the inside with Zaine Kennedy, but from the outside is Tobias THOMSEN, and he gets over the top of him, and now he has to clear off the front. Starke's got some work to do at the back in blue. But Tobias THOMSEN now trying to find a fast line. He's out front, he can go where he wants, and he comes in lap 1.
Doing well there, Tobias, getting around the first 2 corners and putting daylight now between himself and the 2 Scorpions. I think they may have been hoping to do a little bit better than that, but it's the Viking from Denmark, Tobias THOMSEN, out front and putting air between himself and the 2 Scorpions. Poole Starke at the back, not making any impression on the race. We'll have to go with Tobias at front.
Yeah, Tobias THOMSEN leads it in red. Anybody hungry at home, viewers? Because I can feel a donut coming on. In white in second is Luke Harrison. Oh no, it's yellow, Zaine Kennedy. White in third is Luke Harrison. It's red, yellow, white and blue as they come over the line. It really was a tape-to-tape win for Tobias, but he had a lot to do on that first corner, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly did, and he came up trumps. Great to see. We may get a little bit of a celebration now. No, just a standard clap of the hands, keeping his donuts dry.
Maybe he's been told to keep his tyre clear. Who knows? So here's your official result from E8. It's a win for Tobias THOMSEN in red for the Pirates. A good second place for Zaine Kennedy in yellow for the Scorpions. Third, Luke Harrison in white for the Scorpions. And at the back, Poole Starke in blue for the Pirates. It's a 3-all. Heat score is the result of Heat 8. 61.66 was the race time. And the match score after 8 heats is 25 to the Pirates, 23 to the Scorpions.
Yes, there we go. A quick look at the track and a few of the rutted areas that are starting to develop across the gate. Of course, most tracks have this situation as the evening goes on, as we move out to gate 4 there on the fence. But we've got riders on track already for heat number 9, and that's Louis Kerr making his way to tapes.
Yeah, wants to come around and get a good look at where he's going to start from. Louis looking for a first race win tonight. Has a third and a second. And we're looking to add a win to that in this heat.
Now, I wonder if Jake Allen has been able to resolve his mechanical issues. We've got the other 3 riders out on track at the moment, but Jake we're still waiting on. And as I say that, he rolls out of the pit gate. So full complement of riders as per programme in heat number 9, with the Pirates 2 points to the good.
Yeah, so here we go with heat number 9 in memory of Ken Griffin. Gate 1 in white is Jake Allen for the Scorpions. Gate 2 in blue is Louis Kerr for the Pirates. Gate 3 in yellow is Declan Kennedy for the Scorpions. And in gate 4 in red is Anders Rowe for the Pirates.
As you can see, the clock's ticking down now, just 30 seconds and less for those 4 riders to be at the line ready to go racing. So there we go, we've got the riders in position, ready to go.
Away we go. Looks a good one from the rider in blue, Louis Kerr on the inside, and coming around the outside, it's Anders Rowe. Pirates looking good here in 1 and 2. In third is Declan Kennedy, and he looks to be going under Louis Kerr. Louis Kerr's going to have to chop his nose off here.
Good work from Rowe and Kerr in the opening lap, but Declan Kennedy is working his socks off for the Scorpions and trying to find an inside line. Louis Kerr's got that to sus now, so he covers that. So it's Rowe in red leading out Kerr in blue. Declan Kennedy still working hard for the Scorpions, trying to reel in Louis Kerr. But they're just coming up with a lap to go, and it's going to take an almighty effort from Kennedy to do anything for the Pirates.
Yeah, Louis Kerr, the more experienced rider here in second, should be able to do just enough to keep on top of the situation here. But Anders Rowe, he's been superb. He wins another. It's red, blue, yellow as they come over the line. It's a 5-1 heat advantage and a maximum heat advantage to the Pirates.
Yeah, unfortunate for Jake Allen. He's just pushing the bike back into the pits. It's not locked up this time, but back he goes. And it was the Pirate boys who sprung away from the gates, and they weren't troubled in any way in heat number 9.
So here's our official result of heat 9. It's a win for Anders Rowe in red for the Pirates. In gate 2, second was Louis Kerr He picks up 2 points for the Pirates in second place. In third, in yellow, was Declan Kennedy, working his backside off for that solitary point. And once again at the back, Jake Allen with mechanical issues. So the Heat 9 result was a 5-1 heat advantage in the favour of the Pirates. 61.48 was the race time, and our match score after 9 heats is 30 to the Pirates and 24 to the Scorpions.
So from 4 down after heat 10, the Pirates have turned that round to 6 up after heat number 9. And we're into tactical territory now, of course, with the Scorpions 6 points in arrears. Will they throw the dice in heat number 10 and maybe introduce Steve Worrall into the mix? Time will tell. Richard Lawson is the rider on screen in the red helmet, and it looks like the tactical's being saved because I can see Simon Lambert out on track along with his teammate Connor Mountain. So there we go. We're looking at Richard Lawson there. Heat number 10 is one where the Pirates have had some success in the past, so I wonder if that's going to continue this time around.
Maybe Rob Godfrey's thinking here was that Lawson won his last ride, Tobias THOMSEN won his last ride as well, so is that too much of a risk to put the tax sub in now? Maybe that's his thought.
Yeah, for his decision, of course. I know a lot of team managers like to use it as soon as they possibly can in case events change, but we're on to heat number 10. Here's your lineup.
So, sponsored by BERJ Digital. Gate 1, Connor Mountain in yellow for the Scorpions. Gate 2 in blue for the Pirates, Tobias THOMSEN. Gate 3 in white for the Scorpions, Simon Lambert. And in gate 4 in red is Richard Lawson for the Pirates.
Don't believe the riders' totals that you see on screen, please, because there appears to be a glitch in the graphic there. So we'll see if we can correct that for you going forward.
Lawson having a last bit of gardening there. Heat 4's been pretty productive tonight in the early heats. Is it still going to be good for the last 5?
Richard moving right across to the inside of the gate box there, nearest to gate number 3. He obviously thinks he's found the spot to shoot away from the gate.
Yeah, the gates go up and away we go. Simon Lambert trying to deal with Lawson. Lawson's found a gap round the outside. It's a Poole on a 5-1 once again. Lambert looks altogether quicker. Tobias THOMSEN is a little bit mid of the track.
So it's close encounter stuff. Simon Lambert really off the bike on the first bend, but he stays on, and it's down to Tobias THOMSEN, who's suddenly found his purple patch, and he tucks in behind Lawson as the Pirates head towards a potential 5-1. Connor Mountain's doing all the chasing for the Scorpions, with Simon Lambert out the back. Lawson leads it. THOMSEN fairly wide on bends 3 and 4, but he's kept his speed going as they head to the last lap.
Yeah, it's all about Tobias THOMSEN now, and he's got Connor Mountain breathing right down his neck. He's not getting a particularly comfortable ride here, Tobias THOMSEN, but he's persisted with the right line because it's fast enough. It's a ridden for the rider in red, blue, yellow and white as they come over the line. It's another 5-1 heat advantage in the favour of the Pirates. Superb maximum from the 2 Poole guys, the number 1 and 2. Donut, anybody? What a showman this fella is. He must have, when he won that race, he must have had something he needed to tell somebody back in the pits. Anyway, here's the confirmation of that Heat 10 result. It's a first and a win for Richard Lawson in red for the Pirates. Second, followed on by his partner in blue, Tobias THOMSEN the Dane. In third was Connor Mountain in yellow for the Scorpions, and at the back Simon Lambert, who started promising and then got hooked up there in the deep stuff. So it's a 5-1 heat advantage to the Pirates. 61.43 is the race time, and now the Pirates on the night after 10 heats open up a 10-point gap. It's 35 to the Pirates, 25 to the Scorpions.
Let's have a look at the race from the gate here, and there's a very tight first corner when they get there. Off they go. Thompson's making better starts in the last couple of races, but here comes Richard Lawson. Breathe in, everybody. Here he comes around the outside. Simon Lambert just trying to hold him up, but left enough racing room, and Lawson was through like a rabbit up a drain pipe, and off he goes into the distance. But it's then the minor placings which grab our attention, with Tobias THOMSEN working his socks off on the wider line, fending off Connor Mountain, and Pirates bring home a 5-1. Second one in succession as we head on towards heat number 11, and your rider lineup coming on screen for you now. After we see a little bit of statistical information about heat 11s, which look like shared heat at 1, visitors maximum at 1. So not in favour of the Pirates on history, but that's history. What we got now, Scotty?
The future.
Excellent.
Here we go. It's heat 11 in your lineup. Our sponsors are heat 11 Elite Fabrication, the lovely makers of our camera stands here. Thank you very much to them for that. In gate 1, it's the captain in red, Zach Cook. In gate 2, in white, is Steve Worrall for the Scorpions. In gate 3, in blue, is Poole Starke for the Pirates. And in gate 4, in yellow, Luke Harrison for the Scorpions.
Floodlights are on, not absolutely necessary at this stage because it's still quite a pleasant evening here. The meeting moving on at a good pace, just after 8:30. So 10 races in under an hour, so that's good going. And let's hope that it stays that way. We have good safe racing right up to the conclusion of heat 15. So we've got riders just coming to the tapes for heat number 11, settling in position, and we'll go racing any second now.
Looks a good one off the inside from Zach Cook. The red lights are on. Oh, there's a big crash as well after the red lights were on. Looks like the rider in yellow, Luke Harrison's had a big visit to the safety fence.
Yeah, he certainly has, and he doesn't look at all good down there. We will, of course, pan away now from that incident because you just don't want to see those sort of crashes. We had one last week, and we definitely don't want a repeat of what happened in that incident. Now, the red lights have come on, and I believe it was well before Luke had his tumble, because I think the referee is going to look at the start again, because Steve Worrall has been riding under a warning, and I'm wondering if that may come into play for a second time here. We'll wait for his decision and that to come through, but it did look as if he may have made a little bit of a jump.
Yeah, well, I think you're right. I think he made a little bit of a jump. I think that's why the red lights came on. Whether we will get another look at just the start, whether our editorial producer down there can maybe get a shot of just the start and see whether he jumped it a little, I don't know, and cut it before the incident. But the incident definitely happened under the red lights, so should Harrison manage to get up, he will be eligible to take part in heat 11.
Yep, he will. But there is obviously concern for him down there at the moment. The bike has been extracted from the air barrier, but it's taking 3 people to move it. Front end problems there. Is running okay on the back wheel, but the front end's up in the air and being carted away, so that looks like fork and handlebar damage. But our main concern is with young Luke Harrison down there on the corner.
He went in pretty hard, didn't he? I don't know, it's just out of, from my camera position, my seating position here, I can't quite see that part. I'm a little bit blind for that part of the track.
And I think the applause that you can hear probably indicates, and we can't be 100% sure about this, but it probably indicates that Luke Harrison is at least on his haunches, if not upon his feet at the moment. And there you can see on screen, there's Luke is actually still sat down, so we won't prejudge what may or may not happen there. Let's just allow our medical crew to do the thing. And now there is good news, because Luke is up, probably battered and bruised, winded, but good to see him on his feet and making his way back to the pits. I can see from my position that the white disqualification light is showing, so that means that Steve Worrall is the victim of his tape infringements. Whether he will be replaced or whether he will take a handicap, we will wait to find out.
It's been the undoing of the we're hearing at the same time as you guys about this. So you're hearing it as we hear it. I don't think the track would warrant a 15, starting from 15 back, would you?
Rider in yellow, Luke Harrison, is also allowed to restart, as he was under power when the red lights came on, although as you saw he did later fall. You're saying you can't hear me? Put your hands up if you can't hear me. That's everyone on that side. On the other side, can you hear me? Put your hands up.
Zach Cook, Louis Kerr, Neil MIDDLEDITCH in discussion about what's going on with Danny Ford there, just looking on. Let's have a look at the restart there. Steve Worrall goes across the corner. Luke Harrison looks to drive round, and I think he just catches a deep bit and heads off to the fence. So nasty looking tumble there. And let's just keep our fingers crossed that young Luke is back in the pits and able to come out again in the ReRun.
Yeah, got touched by his teammate, didn't he? And that's the remnants of the bike. Got touched by his teammate, then thought I could hold on to it, then touched the deep stuff. Bike does a bit of a tank slapper, front wheel comes off the floor. No steering when there's no front wheel on the floor, you know, unless it's heading straight to the air fence. You can see again, Zach and Worrall come together. Starke was lucky that he missed it by half a bike length, really, because he'd have been the sandwich. They're filling in the sandwich there for sure, but these guys, don't they bounce? Imagine if that was a footballer, they'd be down for days, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would. Different stuff, different motorcycling fraternity, or a different breed to round ball fraternity.
Yeah, well spotted, the round ball. Good. That stuff that's getting a hiding from any rugby players on the way out.
Yeah. Yes, it's funny, isn't it? You know, about injuries and one thing and another. And you've got to say, some of the crashes that we witness as we watch our speedway absolutely take the wind out of your sails, and what they do to the riders, goodness only knows. We're thinking about poor old Dan Gilks last week, and we're still trying to really find out the update about him, and some problem with a kneecap. How serious, we don't know, but we certainly wish Dan all the very best for a speedy recovery and back into the cheetah side as soon as he can. And similarly with Luke there, you know, we hope that there's no lasting bruising or anything like that, and that he's okay to go. But some of those crashes and the crashes that take place with the air fence these days would have been absolute carnage before the airbags were introduced. So a great invention and essential equipment these days, and quite rightly so. So looking down into the pits, it looks like we've got Zaine Kennedy and Declan Kennedy preparing themselves. So if you hear that from Nigel Leahy, it's Declan Kennedy riding in white, replacing Steve Worrall. He'll start from the gate, of course, and Zaine Kennedy will come in as a reserve replacement for Luke Harrison. We'll cast all those information points up to you on screen in just a few moments' time as we wait for the riders to make their way out of the pits and on to the circuit. The air fence has received its appropriate attention, so I think we're not far away from getting going.
It's Jake Allen. He's had a few mechanical issues tonight, and maybe if you take the Steve Worrall incidents and obviously now been excluded from this one, and a couple of engine failures that Jake Allen's had, is that the deficit for the Scorpions on the night? Have they been a little bit unlucky? I can see the Scorpions fans' point of view here. I think that they can feel a little bit hard done by. If they'd had a couple of points more from, any of those rides, then maybe, they'd still be in the mix here.
Yeah, certainly agree with you there, Scotty. Jake Allen's mechanicals, Steve Worrall's tapes, then Luke's fall there, making it really difficult for the Scorpions. Going to a away track is hard enough as it is, but when you miss out because of mechanicals and exclusions and things like that, it does make it a real tough ask for any club going away from home.
Yeah, we mentioned about the safety, and I think these air fences are one of the best inventions that's come into Speedway, and I wish they were invented maybe 50 years ago, and maybe we'd have had some people here that are may not here with us anymore. I think they're the most amazing invention within Speedway in many a year, because the safety of the guys is paramount, absolute paramount. It has to be first, and the invention of the air fence has saved a lot of riders, that's for sure.
Yeah, certainly. And when you think back, Scotty, to Exeter and their steel fence, how frightening that must have been.
Backed up with soil, so it had no giving it whatsoever.
No, absolutely none at all. I mean, it's still on display. A section of it is still on display at the Speedway Museum, the National Speedway Museum up there at the Wildlife Park. And when you look at it and you see some of the dinks and dents in it, you wonder who made that, and you wonder, did he ever walk away again? Absolutely frightening. Anyway, as we say, we're back underway. Two changes which we'll show you on screen in just a moment or two's time, and everybody underway. So let's bring up the rider lineup for you in this heat number 11 with the Pirates 10 points to the good.
Yep, we're on the rerun of heat number 11, sponsored by League Fabrication. In gate 1 in red for the Pirates, Zach Cook. In gate 2 in white for the Scorpions is Declan Kennedy. In gate 3 in blue is Poole Starke for the Pirates. And in gate 4 in yellow is Zaine Kennedy for the Scorpions. Zaine Kennedy in as an injury rider replacement for Luke Harrison. Declan Kennedy coming in as the reserve for the excluded Steve Worrall. And I have to say, going off a 15 here tonight wouldn't have gained anybody anything. I don't think the track's that type of track this evening.
No, it wouldn't have assisted anybody at all. So to put a rider back onto the start line against the other three, then I think that is quite right decision. So we've got the Kennedy brothers out for a second time together, taking on Paul Starke and Zach Cook for the Pirates.
Zach Cook makes another good one, and Starkey's come with him this time. He's looking over his shoulder for him, but Starkey's been passed. And now Zach Cook had waited for Paul Starke, and now he gets passed by Zaine Kennedy as well. Trying to be the team man didn't work there for Zach.
Yeah, Zaine Kennedy mugged him, didn't he? He thought, Zach Cook thought that was going to be Paul Starke on his shoulder, and it wasn't. And there's great work by Zaine Kennedy to pick the lock. But here comes Zach Cook now. He's charging hard on the inside of Zaine Kennedy. He's got a bucking Bronco underneath him there, but the Bronco manages to stay on the stand, and Zach Cook forces his way to the front.
Dare I say it, that was a proper number 5's move there from Zach Cook. Come up the inside on the start straight, picked the grip up, slid across the shiny stuff, but managed to get to the front. Super stuff from the captain. It's a win for the rider in red, yellow, white and blue as they come over the line. Captain fantastic there. Zach Cook picks up the win in red for the Pirates.
And didn't he have to work for that? I'm sure, as we say in commentary, that it was Zach thinking it was Paul Starke coming around on his outside, but Zaine Kennedy really bit the metal there and forced himself to the front.
Yeah, here's the official confirmation of the Heat 11 result. It's a win for Zach Cook there for the Pirates in red. In second, a good second place for Zaine Kennedy for the Scorpions in yellow. In third, his brother Declan in white for the Scorpions, picking up the solitary point. And at the back, Paul Starke for the Pirates in blue. It was a 3-all heat score was the result of Heat 11. 61.51 was the time. And after 11 heats, the match score here at Wimborne Road is the Pirates 38, the Scorpions 28. And here we see it from the start. The Pirates boys there. Zach looks over his shoulder first time, then looks over his shoulder second time, and he's already shut the throttle to let his partner round him. And it wasn't his partner there, it was Zaine Kennedy. And then he had to put the hammer down.
True captain's ride though, wasn't it, to make up for his mistake. I'm sure he'll hold his hands up to that one later on, but here's the chance, side by side down the straight, and Zach drives hard in, slides away to the deeper stuff, has a little bit of a buck and a rear down the back straight, but carries it on to go home.
We said we'd have to keep an eye out for the Kennedys this evening, and we certainly have. They've been point scoring really well down there at reserve, and every opportunity they're getting, they're coming out on track and picking up points.
Yeah, they are. I mean, Declan Kennedy never in there before, so a bit like Mitch McDermott last week, you know, come to the track and seem to settle in very, very quickly. Yeah? I know it's not a technical or a trick track here at Poole, but to be able to come and score points easily, really, in certain cases, as they have been doing, testament to them, all credit to them.
It's a track that you have to attack here, isn't it? At Wimborne Road, you have to attack the track. You can't be. It's one of those. And why is it about the Aussies that 9 times out of 10, most of the Aussies do come here and attack it?
Well, they need money. They need points. They need to be able to keep themselves sufficient whilst they're in the UK. Not all of them are blessed with all the types of sponsorship that some have had, and these lower order boys, they're here to make a career for themselves, but they've got to do it within their means. And if you poot around at the back and you don't score any points, then it's curtains really, and you can see them on the plane going home. So, team meeting there in the pits. Midlow issuing the instructions 10 points to the good, which is obviously a lot better than they were at this stage last week. And I've got to say they look a little bit more fired up this week than they did last week. Their starting is a bit better, not perfect, but a little bit better, and it's getting them into the key positions where they can actually go out and attack the track as we've been talking about, and do what they should be doing, you know, with the engine room putting 5 ones and the number 1 rider leading from the front. Had a look down the Scunthorpe side of the pits, and Luke Harrison there with the top of his Kevlars down, so he looks okay. Let's hope that's just a bit of a winding and a bit of a bruising. And Jake Allen there, another rider who's not had the best of nights. And there's the Kennedys. Wouldn't think that they were brothers, would you? Just looking at their appearance there, but Declan with the dark hair reminds me of somebody off of the television. I can't think who it is.
I think that one dyes his hair blonde and the other stays dark to try and remove the fact that they're brothers. I think if they both had similar colour hair and similar colour taches, they'd look identical. Maybe.
Probably would. Yeah, they probably would. There we are. Good crowd in again tonight at Wimborne Road. No doubt looking a little bit more pleased with the way things have been progressing over the last few races. And pitch time again there with Richard Lawson and Zach Cook in conference. And Richard has got, what's he got there? Oh, classic fruit salad this week for Richard. That'll be pineapple, mango, melon, all the good stuff.
All the things that make you think of sunny places and sunny climates rather than a dusty speedway track. Or
yeah, I'm surprised there's not sushi he's got in there, really, because Richard's a pescatarian. Go and look that up if you don't know what a pescatarian is. But yeah, he'll probably be on the fish when he gets home tonight.
I know what one of those is. My dad used to call me a pesky kid. Is that a similar thing?
Yeah, very similar. Yeah, very similar. Enough of our babble. Time to look in the pits, see Anders Rowe getting himself ready to see if he can complete a 4-ride maximum as we go racing in heat number 12.
Must be finding it hot out there. I see the Kevlars are a little bit undone at the neck. So either one thing, he thinks he's going to be out front and he's not going to have any dirt going down the Kevlars, or he's genuinely forgot to do them up. Now Richards there heading round to tapes. By the time they all get here, it'll be just about a minute to go. Looks like we have a tactical move here. And the rider in white will be Steve Worrall, not Simon Lambert. Worrall takes a tactical sub ride in Heat 12. So here's your lineup for Heat 12, sponsored by Fry's Electrical Limited. In Gate 1 in red is Anders Rowe for the Pirates. He's not been beaten tonight. In Gate 2 in yellow, Declan Kennedy for the Scorpions. In Gate 3 in blue for the Pirates, Darryl RITCHINGS. And in Gate 4 as a tactical substitute is Stevie Worrall for the Scorpions.
Then we just have to mention, of course, that Steve Worrall's warning, which he's received for tape infringement, carries on right the way through the meeting. So he can't afford another tape infringement because he's already got that mark against his name. Here we go then, heat number 12.
It's a good start off the inside from Anders Rowe. He goes and cuts off. The rider in blue is down, Darryl RITCHINGS. I don't know whether we got touched there on the inside, but he's down all the same. We'll wait for our referee's decision.
No, it was just in the periphery of my eye line, and all I saw was him skidding along on his backside. So he is sat up next to the air fence, so hopefully not too bad. Mike is stood up and fairly close proximity.
Medics with Darryl RITCHINGS now. And as Rowe made the best of the starts there, I think, as they headed off to the first corner. And Steve Worrall there coming across from gate number 4 may have just slightly impeded Darryl RITCHINGS, but nothing sinister in it at all. And it may be called a first bend incident. It may be a disqualification for RITCHINGS. Let's wait on the referee's decision. No disqualification lights on at the moment, so we'll wait and see what his verdict is. But good to say that Darryl RITCHINGS, as you can see on screen there, is up on his feet. Bit of a smile on his face. He may have bumped his coccyx.
He bumped something there around the midriff.
The rear midriff.
Yeah, definitely the rear midriff. Some would say the buttocks, but I think Midlow just came across to him and said, "How hard do you think the track is now, mate?" Snaked a bit from the start. I think he gets clipped there on the inside. He definitely does. Front wheel clip there from the rider on his inside in yellow, Declan Kennedy. Typical first bend bunching, I believe. Good old fashioned first bend bunching. Tested his Kevlars and his race jacket and everything now.
Yeah.
On his first meeting.
Yeah, as zips himself back together again. Zach Cook asking him how he is. Darryl saying he's got trouble with his coccyx. Zach saying, yeah, we have that all the time in Australia.
Especially in the dry season. I did have a chat with Zach earlier. He actually came down here last night, down forward here, watering the track himself last night at between 8 and 11 last night, filling the tanker up as quick as he could fill it. Zach had a travel round with him in the tractor apparently, and Dan asked him, what should we be doing? And Zach said, in Australia, mate, we ride in the 42-degree heat, and we do this for 3 days in the dark before the meetings, because it's the only way you can get any moisture into the base and try and stop the base blue lining. So it was an attempt last night, and when the boss comes down and does it himself, I think that should show all the fans the commitment of the promotion and exactly what they are trying to achieve. They want that goal as well.
Yeah.
The same as the fans do. So let's try and be a little bit more optimistic and stay off of one's back, let's say, maybe on social media.
Well, there shouldn't be too many complaints about what's happened so far this evening. A little bit unfortunate there for Darryl RITCHINGS, but I guess I can see no disqualification lights on at the moment, and I guess that means that we go back to all 4 restart. Let's hope. We don't want to see 3 rider races really, do we? We want to see 4 rider races and everybody having a go out there.
Yeah, RITCHINGS is gloving up, so he's coming back out. You can't stop this new pirate. He wants in. And chatted to there by one of his mechanics. Our 2 minutes is on, so the riders will soon be back at tapes. I have to say, Anders Rowe will be looking for another one of those starts, won't he?
Oh, well, had a ripper, didn't he? Let's have a look at Heat 12 and through the 2 matches so far. Well, 4-2 to the Pirates on one occasion, 3-3 on another. So still early days in our statistical tables yet, but not one that the Pirates will be worrying about too much from those figures, especially with a 10-point lead as they have at the moment. Can they protect it? That's the important thing. Steve Worrall gets another chance on his tactical ride off the outside gate, and as Rowe gets another chance to make a jet-propelled start from his position on the inside gate. Darryl RITCHINGS there with the chain oiler on, and off we go.
I'm not sure how much time Richings has got, but here we go. It's the rerun of Heat 12, sponsored by Fry's Electrical Limited. In Gate 1 in red we have Anders Rowe. He had a flyer in the first start. Gate 2 in yellow is Declan Kennedy in for the Scorpions in Gate 2. In Gate 3 in blue, Darryl RITCHINGS for the Pirates. And in Gate 4 in white is Stevie Worrall for the Scorpions.
Richings getting a good round of applause from the people in the grandstand as he returns to the start line and takes up his position. Good encouragement for the new young pirate. Here we go with heat number 12, ReRun.
Takes her up and away we go. And Kennedy missed it by an absolute mile. Richings has come across and cut him off. He sat in third place. Worrall's now going after Anders Rowe out front. Kennedy is out wide. He's really giving it a good go. The rider in blue is in front of Kennedy.
Darryl RITCHINGS with Kennedy almost sat on his saddle going around the first two corners. I think we can look to the third and fourth positions to see where the race is going to take place. And it's Darryl RITCHINGS doing well at the moment, leading down Declan Kennedy. He's going backwards and he's almost in the fence, and he is in the fence there. So with a lap to go, it's 1 lap to go when they come over the flag this time. But that said, the race was stopped with Declan Kennedy down, and they'd completed about 2 3/4 laps. So a decision to be made by the referee here as to whether he calls a restart or makes an award. Declan Kennedy on his back at the moment, and he is moving, but looks like he probably took the wind out of himself as he came down there.
I can't see it being a restart myself. I think everybody was, he hit the dirt big time. Looks like through a chain there. Pitts coming back into the pits. I think that's James Shane's dad, isn't it? Picking the bike up.
Yeah, it is. But the important thing for the 2 3/4 laps that we saw there was that Darryl RITCHINGS wasn't going to be bullied out by Declan Kennedy, although Kennedy was almost sitting on his back wheel at one stage. Darryl RITCHINGS took a wider line, he then came back, he took a tighter line, and he was doing something that we hadn't seen from our number 7 in 2025 so far. So good competitive work from Darryl RITCHINGS, and we do hope that he's going to secure at least 1 point from that heat.
Yeah, and especially because he's had 7 heats to wait. His reverse ride was swapped, wasn't he, with Starke in Heat 8, and so he's had to wait 7 heats just standing there by the fence and trying to guess the setup for the track changing for that much in 7 heats. There's been a couple of grade-ins, which means effectively it drags the dirt back in and dries it out a little bit. But I was impressed with him there. He was not going to be pushed out of the way, was he, and moved over?
No, he was very brave. And I don't know if I know enough about this to say he had a bit of a grass track style going into some of those corners. I know he does a lot of grass track racing, or has done a lot of grass track racing as well as speedway, but his position on the bike and the way his left leg was angled out and down, sorry if I'm not explaining myself very well, but the way he entered the corner in that position reminded me of a grass track rider, and that maybe came into full effect there.
So here we go then. It's confirmation of the Heat 12 result. It is a win in red for Anders Rowe, and he completes his 4-ride max here, unbeaten tonight. In second was Stevie Worrall. He picks up 2 points for the Scorpions. In third, that vital point for Darryl RITCHINGS at his first points for the Pirates in blue. And at the back, failing to finish, was Declan Kennedy in yellow, obviously ending up in the fence. 4-2 was the heat score from race heat number 12. And after 12 heats, the match score is 42 to the Pirates, 30 to the Scorpions.
And good to see Declan there on his feet, accompanied back with his brother there. So there we go, there's the Kennedy boys back into the pits for some repairs, no doubt, and a nice cup of tea, drink of water, or whatever they do to refresh them. Energy drink, no doubt.
Some good stuff from Richings. Are we here as Pirates fans? Are we kind of waiting for Will Cairns and expecting brilliance when he arrives, or are we putting too much pressure on the lad? You know, it feels like it's a D-Day that everybody's waiting for the time that he's available and comes of age to be able to ride. And I fear that maybe there's going to be a massive over-expectation by the time he gets here.
Yeah, a few things going through my mind about this. First of all, he's here in a couple of weeks' time at the Harbour Masters in this National League individual meeting. And the expectation on him that night is going to be huge, because people are going to think that as he's wiping the floor with everybody in the National League at the moment, he'll do the same here on his first competitive meeting. And the second thing is, when he does become able to take his place in the Pirates side, his first meeting here is against Glasgow, where he's likely to be up against Freddie Hodder and Max Perry, and people are going to be judging him on how he does in that first meeting. And you've got to be careful that, in fact, with no disrespect to Hodder or to Perry, they're not the strongest in the world, and he could get a good score, albeit against weaker opposition. Let's have a look at the rerun here, and Scotty, you want to talk it through?
Yeah, I think here he grabbed a bit of grip here, Richards at the back, Darryl, and forced himself wide. He didn't want to be that wide. He comes back and chops the nose off of Kennedy, and then Kennedy's having to hit the brakes, and it's two of them nearly on one bike there. But he manages to hold on and shows that he's not going to be shoved out again. He knows that he was a little bit in the lead when he went round the outside on the lap previous, so he stayed tight, knowing that somebody's got to have some super speed. But that looks to have been a typical chain throw there for Kennedy on the way into the corner, and then once that happens, you've got no control, no drive, the bike straightens up and just put him straight into the air fence. Never in doubt corner there. The Pirates faithful travel to a lot of home and away matches.
They're off at the weekend, aren't they? They'll go up to Edinburgh and then on to Berwick on Saturday night for the Pirates' first two away fixtures in the Championship. And well, every away fixture is a tough one, and those two in particular could be very tough for the Pirates. But, well, you know what, Poole are Poole, aren't they? And you'd never count them out wherever they go. They can always pull a rabbit out of the hat. And maybe that'll be the situation when we reconvene on Sunday morning and look at what's happened up north over the weekend. We got riders. Sorry, Scotty.
Well, we got two on the trot here for Steve Worrall. 2 minutes is now on, and Worrall's back wheel is not in, so I don't know whether they've spun the back wheel, I don't know whether they've changed the gear in, but something's happened with Stevie Worrall's bike there. Just checking the wheel is all aligned, the mechanic there for Worrall. Worrall fully aware that he only has a minute to get round to tapes and be ready to start. Bit of help there coming as well from Zaine KENNEDY, I think. Simon there, but Lambert in the background. He's not had the best of nights this evening. He's had better nights here at Wimborne Road, that's for sure.
So we got three on the line, and we're just waiting for Steve Worrall to appear. Here he comes, and here's your lineup.
So here we go, the lineup for Heat 13, sponsored by Global Heating, and it's in Gate 1 in white for the Scorpions, Stevie Worrall. In Gate 2 in red is Richard Lawson for the Pirates. In Gate 3 in yellow is Jake Allen for the Scorpions, and in Gate 4 in blue it's Captain Marvel Zach Cook for the Pirates. The takes, and away we go. It's going to be elbow to elbow. Worrall and Lawson. Lawson coming around the outside in all the grip. Worrall gave him a shove, looked like he was going to get there. Zach Cook now having a little look in blue, but coming under Zach Cook is Jake Allen in yellow.
Lawson's away at the front, Zach Cook running the low line, and can he catch up with Steve Worrall? Well, Steve seems to have got it nailed now. He's gone out wide to the fence line, but Zach Cook persists on the inside run. Lawson untroubled at the front. Super first two corners from him to get himself into pole position. Zach Cook's closing him down, closing Worrall down now. They both moved to the far outside. What can happen the last lap?
Yeah, Zach Cook definitely in the wing mirrors of Stevie Worrall, going out there looking for the big blast around the outside. But Worrall knows this place like the back of his hand, as does Lawson out front. It's a win for the rider in red, white, blue and yellow as they come over the line.
Richard Lawson on screen there, second time this evening that he's had to use that big wide sweep on bends 1 and 2, but he's nailed that to perfection and flew past Steve Worrall as if he wasn't standing.
So here's the confirmation of the Heat 13 result. It's a win for Richard Lawson. Didn't have it all his own way, had to blast around the outside. Turn 2 in second was Steve Worrall in white. For the Scorpions in third in blue was Zach Cook for the Pirates, and in fourth, giving it a good go on the first couple of laps, was Jake Allen, but faded towards the end. So the Heat 13 result is a 4-2 in the advantage to the Pirates. 61.22 was the race time. And your match score after 13 heats, 42 to the Pirates, 30 to the Scorpions. And you saw Lawson and Worrall elbow to elbow there in turn 1. Worrall then decided he may go up the inside, might be quicker the short route. But Lawson grabbed a whole handful around the outside and managed to get the job done.
Yes, we got riders up to the line for heat number 14. Pirates currently sitting on a 14-point advantage. Is crucial, of course, because there's a bonus point to be ridden for up at Eddie Wright Raceway later in the year, so building an advantage is a great thing to do. And a full four-rider lineup with Scotty.
Yep, Heat 14, sponsored by Maidment Properties. In Gate 1 is Paul Starke in blue for the Pirates. In Gate 2 in white is Connor Mountain for the Scorpions. In Gate 3 Louis Kerr comes out in red for the Pirates, and in Gate 4 in yellow is Zaine Kennedy for the Scorpions. 46-32 is the match score. As Rob rightly says, we are looking for as big a lead as we can to take up to Scunthorpe, to the Scorpions' home. I think bonus points are going to be a real big thing, because I think the league is going to be tight this year. I think there's much of a muchness with teams as we start the year, and we're seeing some good results, and I think probably the most even championship we've seen in a year or two, I think.
Yes, agreed, Scotty, totally agree. Bonus points are going to be key. Here we go with heat number 14.
It's a good start in white from Connor Mountain, but round the outside in red. Super stuff from Louis Kerr following the Richard Lawson line. He absolutely creamed it round the outside.
Kerr leads it in skirt. Starke moves into third place. Doesn't help because Zaine Kennedy's on his one wheel down the back straight. So Pirates sitting on a 4-2 with Kerr using all the track on the first two bends. Connor Mountain tucked into second place. Paul Starke has sneaked through the third there. And the Pirates sitting pretty on a 4-2 in heat number 14 as we head into the last lap of this race.
Indeed, Zaine Kennedy at the back, still giving nothing up. He gave himself a scare at the wheelie on the pit turn, but he's still absolutely going hell for leather, trying to catch Paul Starke, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. It's going to be a win for the rider in red, Louis Kerr. So it's red, white, blue and yellow as they come across the line. It's another 4-2 heat advantage in favour of the Pirates. There's your race winner, Louis Kerr, coming round to receive the plaudits, and quite right, from the Pirates fans. So confirmation of the Heat 14 result. It's a win for Louis Kerr in red for the Pirates. In second, Connor Mountain in white for the Scorpions. In third, in blue, was Poole Starke. He picked up that point. And in fourth was Zaine Kennedy in yellow for the Scorpions. It's a 4-2 result of Heat 14 in the favour of the Poole Pirates. 61.59 is the race time. And match score after 14 heats, 50 to the Pirates, 34 to the Scorpions. There's Zaine Kennedy. Gets a bit of lift there when he didn't want it. He was trying to get this thing down on the floor, but looks like Zach and Richard are going to go out maybe in Heat 15 as the nominated. Maybe not. Maybe Anders could go out. He's on 12 out of 12. He'd be disappointed not to go out on his 12-point max. Sometimes riders don't like to spoil their 12-point max. Tobias THOMSEN walking around there. Tough start for him to the meeting. He started with a duck egg, but then went on to have a win and a paid win. It's a 6+1 he ends up with tonight. So it looks like Lawson is going in blue. It will be the Scorpions with the choice, I think, on this last heat of gate positions. Real discussion, deep discussions there between captain, manager and rider. Clark of the course is probably asking for who's doing what, because he's got to let the referee know who's going from what gate. As we head round and have a little look to the other side of the pit. Harrison there with a bit of a limp. Could be the steel shoe. Stevie Worrall doing adjustments to the bike, so one would guess it could be him. Looks to be work being done on Connor Mountain's bike there, so yeah, I can see that. Connor hasn't failed to score this evening. Picked up points in every race. Worrall will always be ready for a Heat 15 here at Wimborne Road. Former Pirate for 3 years. Really did give his heart and soul to the club while he was here. And I think the fans, when you saw him walk out initially and was announced as the #1 here at trackside in front of the grandstand at the start of the evening on the parade, you would have heard the rapturous applause he received from the Pirates fans. It is going to be Rowe in red by the looks of things. So, looks like it's Anders Rowe in red. It's going to be boy Richard Lawson in blue. We knew that. Looks like Steve Worrall. And Connor Mountain, just as we guessed. So, your Heat 15 lineup: Anders Rowe, Richard Lawson, Steve Worrall, and Connor Mountain. So the 2 minutes is on, and our riders are on their way to track. Exactly, can Anders Rowe protect his maximum here in Heat 15? Anders Rowe will be off gate 2. So our riders are round to tapes. Here is your Heat 15 lineup, sponsored by Upright Scaffolding Services Limited. In gate 1 in white for the Scorpions, Steve Worrall. In gate 2 in red for the Pirates, Anders Rowe, unbeaten this evening. In gate 3 in yellow is Connor Mountain for the Scorpions, and in gate 4 in blue is Richard Lawson for the Pirates. Max score going into Heat 15, 50 to the Pirates, 34 to the Scorpions. Start Marshal Rod Wadham is asking the riders to come in. Tapes are up and away we go. Worrall looks to get a good one off the inside. His old mate Lawson's there on the outside. Anders Rowe's up the inside. Lawson gets a drop on Stevie Worrall and manages to block past him on the pit turn. Anders Rowe on the outside. Connor Mountain coming up the inside and tries to return the favour to Anders Rowe, who keeps it pinned on. Oh my word! There was no room for Anders Rowe to go around Mountain there. These two riders absolutely going at it, hammer and tong. Rowe goes on the inside, drifts to the outside, grabs a length away from him now. Hopefully that's enough for him. Lawson's out front in blue. He comes into the last lap. But you have to say, Anders Rowe, what a move. Brave, brave man on turn 2 and down that back straight. The Pirates fans will absolutely love that. But it's Connor Mountain. He's in yellow in third and at the back of Steve Worrall. Oh, it's a win. It's a win for Anders Rowe. It's a 15-point max. What a mate. What a mate in Richard Lawson. Pulling up in blue. So it was red, blue, yellow and white. What a team man from Lawson. What a team man. Anders Rowe, 15-point max for the Pirates. And the fans will absolutely love this. So here's a confirmation of the Heat 15 result. It's a win and a 15-point max for Anders Rowe in red. Second in blue is Richard Lawson for the Pirates, bringing home the 5-1. In third was Connor Mountain in yellow for the Scorpions. And fourth in white was Steve Worrall for the Scorpions. It's a 5-1 heat advantage in the favour of the Pirates. Your race time was 61.97. And your match score after 15 heats and result is 55 to the Pirates and 35 to the Scorpions. Well, we could all watch this race again. Worrall gets out there and just finds himself stuck still. Lawson comes across the front of him. but he also comes across the nose of Anders Rowe, who stops his momentum a little. Connor Mountain then in yellow comes up the inside and shows a wheel to Anders Rowe. He stays wide and looking for the drive. He finds the drive, then Connor Mountain lifts, and then there's just no room. How did he get through there? Like he ducked a bar underneath Connor Mountain's bar. Then he went out there again, went across the slick stuff, out into the dirt, got lots and lots of drive, and then you could see him accelerate 2 or 3 bike lengths away. And then Anders Rowe knew that he was then home and dry to take the 5-1 with the Pirates. Here's your team scores and where they came from. Start with the opponents. Stevie Worrall picks up 7. Luke Harrison 3+1, unfortunate for his incident that stopped his evening. Connor Mountain on 8, gave it a good go tonight. Jake Allen, couple of mechanical problems. That's why he only picked up 3. But once again, the Kennedy brothers at 6 and 7. Going to be so strong there, picking up 13+3, the pair of them. We move across to the Pirates. Richard Lawson, 13+1. That's what he does here. Tobias THOMSEN, after a bad ride to start, with really well. Anders Rowe, 15-point max. What a night for him. Louis Kerr, 8+2. And Starke picks up 4. Darryl RITCHINGS picked up a point. What can go wrong? 55 to the Pirates, 35. And now we're down trackside with the Pirates.
He's moved in position down to number 4, and he's had a great night tonight as well, picking up a race win. He's number 14. Louis Kerr, everyone. 2 5-1s from MIDDLEDITCH. What's a smile on your face?
Yeah, it was nice to get some fresh air from the team, and we can play friends and hands. Very good overall.
Feeling happy in the Poole race through? Suits you?
Yeah, I like it, to be honest. Certainly in there.
Good to start off the league. When we came here tonight, we thought it was going to be a tough one, but the Pirates made sure to work with it.
Yeah, we seem to make our race first. We need to have a good stuff. Pretty big one game, and very exciting. It's good one as well, so it's definitely a good one.
Good win indeed. Good luck, Louis Kerr, everyone. So a big win for this man. He's jumped in to our pool. He scored 1 point, and I think it's the first point for our number 7. Darryl RITCHINGS, everyone. Darryl, welcome to Poole. I know it's good to see you here. We put a lot in. Unfortunately, you came through, so hopefully you don't want to run. We'll go again. It's Wessex Speedway. Happy to be here at Poole.
Yeah, absolutely. I needed the score. Yeah, we're doing well.
Something to build on, he says. Give it up for Darryl RITCHINGS. Number 1. And that was really quite some heat 15. You built up quite a lead there, but you managed to bring him through at the end. Richard Lawson, everyone. Richard, just give us your talk through on what you think.
Yeah, obviously Anders was dominating, so it was he got first of which it to go, so Anders was hit forward, which was not good, but I was prepared for it, and I actually was better than I thought, and then Stevie came for the dirt, I thought, squeeze him through, which he did, and kind of blocked his run, and just come through, and then he took the battle with Connor, I kept checking on that.
great feeling.
Yeah, definitely. I thought for a win in 15. I thought I took something over to Martin my goal in reverse to be fair. So yeah, it worked well and yeah, it was like very rewarding and yeah, I thought that's how to work well when I on track. So yeah, it was worth it and we got the job done as a team.
I think Wessex Marine already made the decision to give you run of the night after heat 3. That was a tremendous ride, coming through to take Commentator on the line, and it lit the stadium up.
Yeah, it was another way I wanted to do it, but it's good for the fans. Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit here at the start, so just getting used to it again. So it's a tough start, so I'm not really starting in the country. So we're just fine tuning still trying a couple of bits. But yeah, we're just still fine tuning. So.
We're very happy with what you've done tonight. Keep it up. Ladies and gentlemen,
So there we go, our last words there from Anders Rowe, but we're going to go over to Rob Dyer now on centre green and see who he's got with him.
Go. Cometh the hour, cometh the man, and it's Anders Rowe with 5 rides and five winning rides maximum. Absolutely fantastic, done from the gate and done from behind. Tremendous night of racing from you.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the heat, my first race, I didn't make too much of a good start. It was okay, and then I did it on the last bend, the last lap, and managed to do it. So yeah, again in heat 15 I got choice and thought, oh yeah, I'll go for gate 2, it should be better than 4, and might as well have gone in reverse. So yeah, I messed it up, but we fought through and I managed to make a good pass, and yeah, we won the meeting, and that's what counts really. It doesn't matter if I scored a maximum or whoever scores a maximum. It's a good feeling, but as long as the team wins, that's all that matters.
And a great team effort from the Pirates tonight, everybody chipping in.
Yeah, you know, from 1 to 7 we all chipped in, and Darryl RITCHINGS, fair play to him, first meeting in. I know he was a bit nervous before, and yeah, we helped him in the pits, and he was just getting a little bit struggling off the starts, too much lift. So yeah, we got that sorted, and for him, and just told him to rev it a bit more on the start, and it proved in that one he had a nasty crash, got back up and got a point. So I know it's a big massive confidence booster to him, so fair play to him. It's not an easy task, this league, and he's taken it in his stride, and yeah, we all go on to Edinburgh.
Yeah, that's a big weekend coming up for the Pirates, Edinburgh and Berwick. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, definitely, you know, really looking forward to it. Yeah, I really like Edinburgh and Berwick, so I got Sheffield tomorrow, so yeah, a couple of busy days, which is nice, and yeah, I can't wait.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time, Darren. It's just brilliant night's racing.
Thank you. We're about to get run over, so we better move out of the way.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. So there we go. Here for the 15-point max man. Thank you to all our viewers this evening for joining us. I know the Scorpions TV guys up there gave us a watch this evening. So hi, Dylan, if you were watching. And yeah, we are done for the evening. It's all over here at Wimborne Road. It's goodbye from me, Scott Mitchell, your presenter and commentator, and it's goodbye from Wimborne Road. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you all again soon.
He went inside, outside, he went